I wanted to build with the Black community. I wanted to build with the Latino community, with East Asian community, Southeast Asian. Like, how do we all come together in the thing that unites us, which is like, you know, being people of color, being of the global majority. That is something that brings us together. And how do we just like build an event around that? And that's how POC Food and Wine was born.
That was Gina Mariko Rosales, founder at Make It Mariko. I'm Jeff, and this is Storied San Francisco, a show about the artists, activists, and working people who make this city so special. Welcome to Part 2 with Gina, part of our Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Heritage Month programming. If you missed Part 1, please go back and listen to that. In this episode, Gina talks about launching her events company, Make It Mariko, and several of the incredible self-produced events she's thrown, like Undiscovered SF, POC Food and Wine Festival, and this year's Love Thy City. Here's Gina.
Like so many of my current friends, it's the same kind of situation. You've either been there forever or you're living in a family home that was purchased forever ago.
Yep.
And that's how you get to stay.
Thank the ancestors.
Yeah. Thank God.
I hear those stories.
That was my first San Francisco apartment.
Okay, Lower Nob Hill. Like, what were your cross streets?
Like California and what was that? Polk. Like basically.
Dang. Our lives are oddly intersected.
Whoa.
The very first place when in 2000 when I moved here with my friend, California and Larkin. So like a block up.
Yeah, actually, it was Larkin.
Yeah, crazy. 1580 California was my address.
Wait a second. What is the grocery store? There was a grocery store on the corner. Was it a Calmart?
It was Cala.
Cala.
And now it's Trader Joe's.
So I lived there in the Cala days and literally was right down like 2 doors from it.
Amazing.
Whoa,
Amazing.
that's crazy.
Yeah. These are like our lives are intersecting 8 years apart.
Sure, yeah.
Until now, and now we're sitting down with each other.
Yeah,
Anyway.
like Encore Karaoke.
Yeah.
Have you ever been there?
Yep. The Lumiere.
Love that place.
What is the Vietnamese place right there?
Oh, yes.
Starts with C. Anyway.
And everybody goes there. Yeah.
It's still there.
Yeah.
It's still there and it's still good.
It is.
Yeah.
Good value.
So that was your first place
to
live in the city like me.
Yeah.
Are you just like super stoked?
At that time?
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And I took the bus to my job in I guess it would be, was it Potrero Hill? A Potrero Hill area was where I would bus to every day and like bus back and forth, and it was nice.
Yeah.
It was a very chill ride, and I would read my book. You know, we didn't have like crazy cell phones, like super crazy smartphones back then. So
they looked like this.
Yeah, like
I'm showing her my phone case, which looks like a old
Wow.
Motorola. Yeah, it's not. It's
Oh my God, I was tripping. That's the back of your phone.
I'll put a picture in this episode of that. So
it was a nice chill.
It's a different world.
Life. And then I'd come home and hang out with my friend, cook some food, and, you know, maybe go out in the neighborhood, hit up Polk Street, like go to karaoke.
Yes.
It was nice.
Yeah. Okay. And how long did you stay in this program with AmeriCorps?
I ended up getting a job with the group I was the nonprofit I was working at.
Okay.
So I was like the year with AmeriCorps, and then I graduated that program and then was able to get an actual job with them, like part-time.
Doing literacy work.
Yeah, like I was an outreach coordinator.
Okay.
And I also started doing some event stuff, like volunteer events and things like that with youth and the donors and stuff, while I was still directing my nonprofit dance company.
Okay.
So I was trying to make that my job, basically.
We haven't really talked about your nonprofit dance company.
Yeah.
Let's do that. What's the origin story of that?
So Funkonometry SF started in LA with a beautiful group of dancers in LA. And then 2 dancers came up to SF and started the San Francisco branch. And then I was passed the reins by the co-founder to take over. While I was still in Berkeley. So I was literally a senior. I started running that nonprofit as a senior at Berkeley. Everyone who I was directing were older than me. Mm-hmm. I literally went to Barnes and Nobles and purchased a book called How to Run a Nonprofit for
Nonprofit.
Dummies.
Yeah.
For dummies.
Yes.
Barnes and Nobles. That's how we're aging ourselves too.
I was going to say crash course in doing
Yeah.
it, but you also had to book.
Yeah. Read the book, was like, all right, I could figure this out. Let's write some grants,
Right.
So I was basically doing that on the side, not getting paid, trying to figure out how I could make this my job while I, made some AmeriCorps money and then did a part-time job. So I was trying to do the dancer thing.
And then when you got the job with the nonprofit that AmeriCorps connected you with, was
Yeah.
it like more money than you were getting?
Little bit
bit
more.
more, yeah.
Little bit.
But every little bit.
Not much, but a little bit more.
Matters, right.
And I remember at peak time at the nonprofit dance company, I paid myself $600 a month. And I was so fucking proud. I was so proud of that $600. I was like, we're actually getting paid.
Yeah.
Nobody could say that at that time.
Right.
And we were getting invited to travel internationally to perform.
Ooh, yeah.
And that was already cool. We won the Bay Guardian Goldie Award
Yes.
back in the day for dance.
Hell yeah.
So we were a really well-known and recognized company, but of course we weren't making any money. We just loved it.
Where did y'all travel internationally?
Philippines. The team went to the UK once to showcase, and then the biggest place we traveled was Colombia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had you been to the Philippines before you went with
No.
the troop? Oh.
Actually, no, I take that back. I have been once with my family when I was younger.
Okay.
Very much younger, and then I went again to do a dance outreach trip. So it was a really interesting time. Look, I'm just new grad, figuring my stuff out,
Young
can barely
adult
afford this
Gina.
apartment, but I'm having a great time.
I feel like, I feel like it's getting a little harder every year probably, but this was still possible in San Francisco around
Yeah.
this time,
It was.
right? To you didn't have to have 2 or 3 jobs.
No.
You could have one kind of cool, low paying job and
I think I paid maybe $900
Right.
a month
Right.
for my room.
and that was a lot,
Yeah, it
but
was.
you could do it.
But I made it work.
Totally.
I figured it out.
Okay. What comes after that apartment on California?
Yeah, it was just you could only do that for so long. And then I was like, okay, I guess I have to be an adult. And I started applying for other jobs and got hit up by a recruiter on LinkedIn. Thought it was fake. Turns out it was real. And I got an interview at Google.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't know if I want to go, Mom. I don't know if this is what I want to do. I don't want to go to Mountain View. And my mom was like, you're going to that interview.
Oh, shit.
Just go and try and listen to them and see what they have to say at least. So I went and I was like, I don't know if I want this job, but I ended up taking it.
Yeah.
And it was a contract role to work recruiting in software engineering.
You got recruited to recruit.
Yeah.
Dang.
I was a recruiting coordinator. So I
Got it.
basically scheduled all the interviews.
Right.
For software engineers, which as you can imagine, there's a shit ton.
Yeah.
So every engineer interviews with 3 to 5 people. So I started busing to Mountain View, and I became one of those people.
You were getting on the bus.
I was the Google busser.
Did people throw stuff at you? I hope not.
It was a very contentious time.
Totally.
And as somebody who's born and raised in the Bay and is a huge San Francisco pride, I felt ashamed every day that I stood in line at the Google bus. Even though it was a really fun job and I was making a lot more money. Finally, I could start saving money. But I was so ashamed standing in line. And I remember as cars would pass me, in my head, I would think to myself, to them, I'm not one of these people.
Yeah.
I run a nonprofit. I'm from here. Hoping maybe they'd feel my vibes and not judge me.
Energy. Totally.
Because I was judging myself.
Oh, no. Right. Well, that's, yeah.
But, it got me in the door.
Yeah.
And I ended up working at Google for 7 years.
Okay.
I thought it would be just a quick, let me just make some money, but ended up getting converted, getting full time.
Okay.
And then I kept getting these amazing opportunities that could not turn down.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll say it, probably making that money.
Absolutely.
You said saving money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Saving money. And then once you're a full-time employee, you start getting
Benefits.
stock options.
Stock options.
Too. So, and then that's how they keep you. It's well, if you stay for a couple more years, you'll be vested. I'm like, give me that money, So.
I'm actually okay with that. It's also just part of your story, but you took that opportunity and turned it into something.
Oh my God, absolutely.
Positive.
Absolutely. And even at this time, so like locationally, I had met my husband. We were dating. He's a San Francisco native, grew up in the inner Richmond, went to Washington, coached at Lowell basketball. So we met and got engaged. And I started living with him, and that's when I moved to Inner Richmond.
Okay.
Yeah, so I lived on Anza Street.
Oh, yeah. Anza and what?
Anza and Parker.
Oh, that's my neighborhood.
Oh, my
Literally.
God.
I'm
We're
in
like
Anza.
neighbors.
Do you know Wood Street, which is one off Masonic?
Oh, no, I don't know
Pig
that
and
one.
Whistle.
Yes.
We're on that street.
Love that bar.
Our lives
Trivia.
are
Trivia there.
Their trivia is really good. Trivia is probably better than the food. The fish and chips are okay. But
Same.
Anyway,
Yeah.
love you, Pig and Whistle.
Yeah.
So what year was this? Like, let's say that you all got engaged and then you moved in.
Oh, that's such a great question. What year did we get engaged? Probably because we're 2008.
Careful, he's listening.
I know. He doesn't remember. Whatever. I don't know. It was probably like 9, 10, 11, 12. Like 2012 or something like that.
Okay. That's a
Yeah.
minute ago.
Yeah.
And so, so now you're in the inner Richmond.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I was taking that shuttle. So now I moved to a different Google shuttle.
Okay, got it.
And started shuttling from there to Mountain View
A
every
more
day.
chill shuttle, like maybe less
Same. It was like
protests?
Divisadero.
Oh, yeah.
Ours didn't really get protested as much. It was more like the downtown ones, like Van Ness and Mission.
The Mission. I lived in the Mission back then.
Was
yeah.
totally getting protested, but not us.
I see. It's probably true back then. Now that I live a little closer to Divisadero, I see those types of buses going down that little ass street. I'm like, you guys should probably go to Masonic or
And there's
something.
so many of them now because before it used to be only Apple and Google.
Right.
And now it's like, I can't even tell what
All the
companies they are.
freaking companies.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. You had already mentioned, was it 7 years that you were at Google?
Yeah.
Total?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what made you leave?
What made me leave?
Google?
So
I'm going to pretend I don't know that story.
Yeah.
I just heard you talk about it on stage the other day.
Totally.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, my family experienced like a lot of tragic loss. I lost one of my first cousins to suicide.
Oh, goodness.
While I was at Google.
Okay.
Very early. It was like 2011, I think. And so that really like rocked my world and like changed my entire family. It really, I like to say it broke us open. Because it was truly heartbreaking, but then we became so close and so open as a family.
Right.
And so after that day, and that's why that standing at that Google bus started hurting my soul a lot more.
Okay.
Because I started asking myself the question, like, if I were to die tomorrow, would I be proud of the obituary that was read at my funeral?
Right.
And me standing in line at a Google bus, going to Mountain View every day, this is not the story that I want to tell about who I am. I want them to tell the story of me being a dancer or like a community person or whatever. And so I, like, over time started being less and less okay with that and decided I was going to go out on my own. And I had been doing events already at Google. So already at this time, I had a new job. I was working on self-driving cars.
Okay.
That was my team, now known as Waymo.
Right.
So I used to manage the demo program.
Oh, dang.
And I was doing events, marketing events, press events, holiday parties, and I loved it. And I was like, I think I could do this maybe. Apparently people do this as their jobs.
Like there's this other aspect of my job that I'm liking way more.
Like, this is cool. This is fun. So I decided to start my own event planning company. And while I was still at Google, I decided to go part-time.
Okay.
I was actually going to quit. And then they were like, don't quit. And I was like, okay, well, I want to be part-time. And I'm only going to come in the office twice a week.
Oh, dang.
And they were like, okay, just stay. And I was like, fine. So for 2 years, I worked part-time there. And I still did my job, and I ran the company. So basically, I worked 7 days a week.
Would it make it a little, or did it make it a little less scary to go out on your own?
Absolutely.
Like kind of like an in-between period of...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was not the person to be like, fuck this, and like flip over the table and leave. Like, no, it was very like supportive, and I tested the waters, and that's when I launched Undiscovered SF, the first like Filipino night market here in Soma.
And was that 2016, 17?
17.
17, yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that year was my second year in business. And I was like, all right, I think it's time. This is taking off. This is a big deal. We had like 8 to 10,000 people at the first festival, and we did 6 events that first year.
Was Undiscovered just an idea in your head?
So when I became an entrepreneur, I got invited to this Filipino entrepreneur meetup by my friend Desi Danganan, who I knew from Polang Lounge.
Okay.
So when I was in Richmond, like we would go party at Polang all the time. I even went there when I was underage, a little, I know security.
Statute of limitations has passed. You're good.
I'm
You're
like,
good.
let me in.
Yeah. Awesome.
So I knew him, and he was starting this new nonprofit, and he told me about this amazing thing called Soma Pilipinas. There's a Filipino cultural district. Oh shit, no way. That's so cool. So I came to this meetup. I heard about what was happening, and I said, I want to get involved, and like more people should know about this. And I just pitched
100%.
them and said, we should throw a launch party. Like, let's throw a fat ass launch party. I'm an event planner now. I can plan it. We applied for like a $5,000 grant. We got it. And then Desi, being the visionary he is, was like, cool, let me get $150,000 more.
Dude.
He's like, I got it. I was like, oh shit, okay. So then instead of doing one launch party, we ended up doing 6 festivals.
Okay, right. This is
So it was literally just an idea.
the beginning of Undiscovered. It was like was it monthly already?
It was monthly.
It started monthly. Yeah, yeah.
It started monthly. We did 6 in a row, and it was fucking wild.
So was it right away like just a success, would you say?
Well, we spent a year planning it.
Yes.
So, and we had like a whole Kickstarter, like a crowdfunding campaign to generate buzz. And then we were planning, doing so much outreach. We did a huge press tour, radio, ads, social media, visits, like press articles, like everything. We had no idea who would show up.
Right.
And then, of course, it was a fucking banger on day one.
Yes.
And people couldn't even get in. Like Jane Kim couldn't even get in.
Oh, wow.
Because of the fire marshal. So, yeah, it was amazing.
Where was it that first year?
The old Mint building on 5th, and then Mint Plaza outside. We closed down a few streets.
I'm just sad that I didn't know about it back then. I only discovered it since the pandemic, but it quickly, from the first year, I think first year I went was like 22, 23. Can't remember exactly because what is time. But like from the first time I went, I was like, this is amazing. And it's become one of my favorite events of the year.
Thank you.
And that's kind of how I discovered, I think, who you are. Well, did I just say discovered?
Yes, you did. It's meant to be.
Anyway, I'm guessing y'all took a year off in 2020.
So actually we didn't.
Shit. Okay.
We did a virtual festival.
No way.
So we actually, because during pandemic, we became experts at virtual events. So I'm a techie.
Yeah.
So I was like, tech, I got this.
Yep.
Like, no problem. And so we developed like a really core solid package. During the pandemic, we were like #1 search for virtual event planner in San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
So we were really successful at that. So we did like a virtual festival. We connected Filipinos in the diaspora all over and had like panels and DJs and a Tri-City DJ dance party.
So, silver lining of pandemic, right? There were some things that I was like,
absolutely.
they say like the pandemic was really good for pets and introverts, but also for making those kinds of connections where it's like we don't have to.
The whole virtual sphere changed the game for so many people, and DJs like just blew up across the world. Their followings. So that
Now
was
we're bringing it back to DJs again. We were
I
talking about
know.
DJ culture earlier.
Well, also my husband was a DJ.
Okay.
When we met, he was DJing parties.
Okay.
So I love DJs.
Yeah. Did or does he have a DJ name?
He just, well, I mean, Jay Fiva was like his name. Their company was called Pure Technique back in the day. But
Awesome.
yeah,
Shout
no
out.
longer a DJ, now a teacher.
Okay, we're getting closer to something I want to talk about, which is on the left there.
Yeah.
But is there anything between, let's just say, like the pandemic year and that you want to talk about?
Pandemic and then coming out of pandemic, look, it's like Make It Mariko, like, is my main agency. That's the main way I, survive here and bring in business. And we've always done a range of events from like weddings to nonprofits to festivals and corporate. But to be honest, like after pandemic, corporate work never bounced back the same. And so after that, I was just like, I'm not going to sit over here and wait for people to choose me. Let me try to do something else and try to create my own way. So that's when I started really wanting to explore self-producing more events.
Okay.
Yeah, like Undiscovered, you know?
Yes. So I guess let's talk about POC Food and Wine.
Yeah, my first foray.
So because it is not yet, and I don't know your plans, we can talk about that, because it is not yet a recurring event.
Sure, yeah.
One of the singular best event, and I'm not kissing your ass here, like it was unbelievable.
Wow.
And it just like it was just however many hours we were there, that many hours of joy.
You went to the main dish one at CL,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
at CL, yeah.
Were you at the after party too? The Brown is Beautiful?
No, we didn't.
Just
go to
the main
that.
tasting
Just the
part.
main-
Okay, cool. Yeah.
We might have stayed a little bit for the Brown is Beautiful.
Yeah, there was
fun.
like a sound bath after. We did like
Yeah.
a CBD wine sound bath and then an after party. Yeah.
No, I wasn't there for that. I think I'd remember that. But can you talk about the impetus for that, the idea,
Yeah.
and putting it together? Because again, spectacular event.
Thank you so much.
Like what?
Literally born out of my heart and Filipino work that we've been doing here in Soma, Pilipinas. We've been so dedicated, just even where we're sitting right now, this corridor. I've like put so much into developing this corridor, and anyone who goes down Soma knows it's not the easiest corridor to develop on, but we're fully committed. And I've loved what we've been doing in the Filipino community. But at the same time, as we've been building that, so many other people in other cultural communities have been like, well, how do we do this in our community?
Right.
How do we learn? What's your model? And how can we take that model? And so I had this like urging to like share and also build cross-culturally. I wanted to build with the Black community. I wanted to build with the Latino community, with East Asian community, Southeast Asian. Like, how do we all come together in the thing that unites us, which is like, you know, being people of color, being of the global majority. That is something that brings us together.
Totally.
And how do we just like build an event around that? And that's how POC Food and Wine was born.
I just say serving food, serving wine, playing music. Those all.
Food, music, culture, like
Yep.
it's a part of all of us,
Yep.
like no matter who you are. And I love wine. So I've always like, you know, I love drinking it. And actually during the pandemic, I got a scholarship to join a wine program.
Okay.
And actually take classes and like learn more about wine, how to like run a wine bar,
Oh, wow.
like things like that. I was just learning. And so I was like, oh, I can do this. Like I can figure this out. And so our goal was really curate these amazing collaborations between dope chefs of color and pairing them with beverage providers, whether it be wine or whiskey or spirits.
Love it.
And even like we had like tea and coffee vendors too. And so as a nod to like do that cross-cultural collaboration and introduce people to new folks.
Yep.
Emerging brands, really. Like we wanted to create a stage for these emerging brands to be highlighted. So that's like how it was born.
One of my favorite parts of being there, besides, you know, the individual people and their food that I ate or their stuff I drank, was the pairings that y'all did on the badges. I thought that was really, really clever.
Yeah, like I really am about helping curate experience, and I do feel like everyone does like amazing jobs at planning events, but like oftentimes we're like under budget or like underfunded, so you don't really get to do that next step of curation. And I really wanted people to experience it in a very specific way. So we were super intentional about that, about like, here's how we want you to try it, because it's like really designed this way.
Yeah.
And see if you like it. And then also come up with your own pairings. If you
Totally.
don't like that either. It's not so strict and like it has to be served this way,
Sure.
you know, strictness.
Yeah, that's like what the white man would do.
Exactly. Like,
I'll
here's
say
a
it.
suggestion. Do you like it?
Do what I say.
Yeah.
Anyway, so one, besides just an amazing event, I actually got an episode out of that because I met Reem that day. Absolutely love everything
Reem.
she does.
Yeah.
And yeah, so thank you for that part
I
of it.
love to hear that, because honestly, to me, that's my metric of success. Connections that birth other creations. So it becomes exponential. It doesn't just end. I always say, like, the event doesn't end when you take your badge off.
Right.
there's like, I met this many people that I want to continue building with because we're aligned. We're in alignment.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to fast forward. We need to wrap soonish. I'm going to fast forward to, let's just say February, because I don't remember the exact date. But my most recent favorite event, which was Love Thy City. Wow. I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about just all the love in that room that day, that night. The premise was your 10th anniversary as Make It Mariko.
Yeah, 10-year anniversary, and also a new partnership with the Foundry, and really wanting to showcase that space and meet some new partners too. But it really truly was a love fest.
Totally.
Truly people coming to, love the city, express their love for the city, express their love for the vendors, for each other, the creatives. We have to come together to find hope. And I felt personally so much love too, from people just appreciating what Make It Mariko has been to them or introduced them to, or an event that they've been to. So that felt really beautiful, especially how hard it is to run a small business and what it takes to keep it alive. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've like really sat down and like cried at home and thought like, why am I doing this? Is this still worth it?
Right.
And then it's days like that are like, this is why I fucking do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Reaffirmation.
Yes.
Awesome. Do you want to tell folks how they can find you / Make It Mariko / Brave News, like all the things?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Plug away.
So our new journey is this new nonprofit called Brave New Spaces. And, really we just have to, we're doing community development. We're doing community building. So we are creating this space as another kind of extension of POC Food and Wine to bring together diverse creatives, anyone who's like wants to build together with the inevitable goal of buying real estate. That's always been a thing of mine. I'm committed to San Francisco. I know I want to stay here. I know I want to continue building here. And I want to own our own spaces so they truly cannot ever boot us out. And I want to do it together. So that's really what we're trying to do here. So bravenewspaces.org is our website. And then, of course, Make It Mariko is our agency that we're always looking, for new ideas to develop and build together. I will just plug that, we're launching this studio residency program. So, of course, I'm like a visionary. I need something big to work towards, and that is eventually buying a building. But we have to start somewhere. So our proof of concept is taking over this beautiful floor at 5th and Mission and filling it with creatives and activating it with smaller, more intimate events. That's kind of where I see the trend going right now. While I love 10,000 person festivals like Undiscovered, I think post-pandemic people really need to build in more intimate spaces. And we're looking for deeper, more connected building with each other. And I think we can only do that in certain kind of spaces. So that's really my next chapter for myself, is how to build deeper with each other.
That was Gina Mariko Rosales. We recorded this podcast in Brave New Spaces at Make It Mariko in South of Market. On the next episode of Storied San Francisco, meet and get to know Jenny Chan, founder of Pacific Atrocities Education. Episode 18 drops Tuesday, May 19th, wherever you get podcasts. Music for Storied San Francisco was produced, performed, and curated by Otis McDonald. Our contributing producer is Aaron Lim of Bitch Talk Podcast. And the show is produced and hosted by me, Jeff Hunt. Now in our 8th season, we have more than 300 episodes available on our website, storiedsf.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If possible, please rate and review the show. I want to know what you think. Find us on Substack for our monthly newsletter and more. And follow us on Instagram and Threads at StoriedSF. Reach us there or email us at storiedsf@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Try to stay hopeful in these dark times. Keep being wacky, creative, and kind out there. And we'll see you next time on Storied San Francisco. We acknowledge and respect the first humans of the unceded land we call San Francisco, the Ramaytush Ohlone. We condemn the genocide of these and other tribes across the Western Hemisphere. We honor their legacy and history, and we support rematriation and sovereignty efforts.